Hello friends, this is Leslie here from leslievoice.com. Today in this video we are going to discuss and talk about a very interesting topic, which is how to structure or how you can have a fruitful discussion with your manager for appraisal, right? So this is we are talking in the month of March or February end. So ideally, this is the time when most of the companies start their appraisal process. So I hope this will be a right time for you to listen carefully to this video and understand how you can structure the appraisal discussion with your manager, right? So this is applicable for people, anybody who works in an MNC organization or a mid-sized organization, right? So definitely this video will help you in understanding how you can structure this appraisal discussion so that you get a better hike, higher hike or best hike, right? So let's understand this is the biggest challenge that most of the employees face today. They really don't know how to get better hikes during the discussion. So because of that, they go for looking for opportunities outside and keep changing jobs, right? So that's also the challenge for them, right? So in this video I am going to cover only about the appraisal discussion, not how you can work throughout the year and get a better performance, show better performance. I'm just talking about how this appraisal discussion you can make it fruitful based on your performance for the last 1 year, right? So now let's get into the video. Now first thing about the appraisal discussion is you need to understand your appraisal format in your organization. Every company has its own appraisal format, right? The rating system which I am talking about. So there are companies which use bell curve. There are companies which use a 5-scale rating. There are companies which use a 3-scale rating. So different companies use different methods to check their performance and accordingly give appraisals, right? So first thing you need to understand what is the system your company is using, or what is the rating system they are using. Most of you might be aware about it because you would have been in the organization for a few years, so you will be aware about that. If you are new to the organization, definitely you can ask somebody and understand what is the rating system that you have. So that's the basic thing that you need to understand. The second important thing that you need to understand about appraisal system is, before even your manager come and discuss with you about your appraisal, you need to know that your appraisal or the percentage hike is already decided, right? So let me give you an example. For an example, let's say your appraisal system is during the April-May time period, right? So that's when most of the companies have appraisal system because the financial year is between April to March, right? So now let's say your appraisal discussion happens in the month of April or May. Now what happens is, before even your manager comes to you, he has to, or he or she has to decide what will be the ratings that he is going to give to each employee, and also what is the hike percentage he is going to give. Now how does this hike percentage is decided is, there is a budget for each and every manager, people manager I am talking about, right? So every people manager has a budget given by the organization. Now let's go a little back. How is this budget decided? This budget is decided based on the company's profit in the last year, right? And also the leadership team decides what should be the country merit across the organization. Meaning every organization, particularly MNC organizations, they say this is the profits that we have made this year. So based on that, we can probably give a 10% hike on an average, or a 12% hike on an average. So if the country merit is something 10%, let's say, take for an example, your hike cannot be 20-25%, right? It can be either 10 or it can be 12, 15, or it can be little slightly lesser than that also. So 8% or 6%. So it actually depends on this country merit, what percentage you can get, right? Now, so there is a country merit decided. So as I said, there is a budget for each people manager. So considering this country merit and also the budget, your manager has to decide who has to get the highest hike, who can get the next level hike, or should two people get the same hike, whatever he has to make the permutation and computation based on various factors. Factor number one is your performance. When I say your performance, it's not that what you think, it's about what your manager or your leadership team thinks, right? It can be your manager, it can be your manager's boss, right? What does they think about your performance is what matters, not what you think. You may think that I have really performed fantastic for the last few years, but what your manager think might be exactly opposite to that. So I'll cover up that in the later of this video. So you need to understand the first factor for your manager to decide what percentage hike you are going to get is based on your performance as he or she thinks, right? Second factor, he or she as a manager has to look at various situations. What if I don't give a highest hike for this particular person? Though there might be two different people who are really good performers, right? One person is fantastic performer, the other person is also fantastic performer. Now there is a dilemma, who gets the better hike, or should I give the same hike for both of them, right? All these things he needs to decide, or he or she needs to decide. And how the manager will decide that basis, like what happens if this person does not get this hike, or what happens if this person does not get the better hike. Will he resign, will she resign, right? Or so does this hike does not motivate this employee? All these factors, as a manager, they need to think about it and accordingly make some understanding, okay, this is the best possible distribution of the budget that they can do, right? So now your manager has decided this, then this goes to your super manager, super boss, and then to the leadership team or the HR business partners, right? Based on your company structure, there will be few people who can approve this, right? The compensation team or whatever team who approves this hike. So it goes to these different teams and get an approval. So once all these teams has approved, that's when your manager will come to you to discuss about your appraisal. Now you tell me, you will be going to the appraisal discussion with lot of points in your mind. Okay, I need to discuss this, I need to discuss this, I need to tell I have performed this, I got the appreciation from this client, whatever it might be. But do you think, is it possible for your manager to change a number which was already decided across the organization by different teams? It's approved now. He or she cannot change it. So that's why, even though you discuss with your manager during the appraisal discussion, that does not have a bigger weightage or bigger reaction from your company. That's when you get disappointed, you look for another opportunities, all these things you do. So there might be exceptions where your manager would have considered after the discussion also. Only I have seen situations where particularly in IT industry, where employee comes with another offer from the external company and say, this is the offer I have, so I will not be able to accept this hike. If you give better hike, I will stay, otherwise I will be leaving. So depending on the criticality of this particular person, your manager and your other people in the organization decide whether they should retain you by giving a better hike or not, right? So those situations is exceptions, but usually if you look at your appraisal discussion, after all these approvals will not make any change, right? So what I am going to recommend to you is, first thing, you need to understand there is something called KPI for each employee in every organization. This KPI is Key Performance Indicator, you might be knowing already. So you need to understand what is your KPI. This thing you need to understand actually from the beginning of the year, right? If you have missed for this year, please next year you can actually follow this. So you need to understand what is your KPI, right? So this might be something that they would have discussed with you in the start of the year, financial year, and got your agreement as well. Most of the companies does that, right? Some companies might not have a clear defined KPI, but it's always better to have a clear defined KPIs at the start of the year. Okay. So let's say you have a KPI. Now you need to check. Let's see what are the KPIs I have, and versus this KPI, what are my achievements? Have I met these KPIs? Right? For an example, cost saving about this much amount you need to save, X, Y, Z amount, right? Some X amount cost saving you need to do as per your role. The KPI differs from each role to role, right? For a recruiter, it's a different KPI. For a HR manager, it's a different KPI. For a compensation and benefit consultant, it's a different KPI. For a Java developer, it's a different KPI. So KPI changes from different, based on different roles and different company also. So you need to check what are your KPIs and what are your achievements against each KPI, right? Have you met the KPI or not? Or have you achieved more than that? So if you have done more than 90% of this KPI, I mean if you have met the KPIs or if you have exceeded the performance based on your KPI beyond 90%, then it's logical for you to expect a better hike. So this is where you need to look at that logically. You might have worked very hard, but if you have not met this KPI, then it's going to be a very difficult thing for you in terms of appraisal, right? So carefully look at the KPIs and then decide where you have made the progress, what you have achieved, what you have not achieved, everything. That's the first step that you need to do for your appraisal discussion. That you can put it in an Excel format or you can put it in a presentation format, whatever format you are comfortable with, document that. You should have proof for each achievements or each KPIs that you are mentioning that you have achieved or overachieved, whatever it may be. Try and collect documents as much as possible. Try and collect all your appreciations that you have got from your clients or from your manager or from your teammate, whatever appraisal it might be or whatever appreciation it might be on a mail or whatever it may be, right? Maybe an award you have got in the year, something like that. Collect everything. So put it as a bundle like your KPI versus your achievement and all the appreciations, right? And what do you think, what you have done extraordinary? I'm saying when I say extraordinary, apart from your regular work, what you have done beyond it, right? So you can mention all that things and make it a presentation. The second step, as I said, the first step is about your KPI and analyzing the KPI against your achievement. And the second step in your appraisal discussion that you need to do is, right, you need to set up a discussion with your manager before 2 or 3 months of your appraisal discussion months. For an example, if your appraisal discussion is going to happen in the month of April, May, then ideally by February or January, you should have this discussion with your manager and present it to your manager what all you have done, right? So hence you are looking for this XYZ number or you are looking for a better hike. Don't specify certain number, I don't recommend that, but you can definitely say you are looking for a better hike based on these achievements, not based on your personal needs or based on your assumptions, not based on your perceptions. Nothing will work. What works is if your KPI and your achievement is beyond expectation and if you present it in the right way and if you have a proof for that, definitely you can put it across with your manager and say this is what I have done for the last year, hence I am looking for a better hike in my appraisal, please do consider. Now you send all these things to your manager. So how does this help is, before even your manager discuss internally with your super boss or with the internal teams, he has an input from you that what you have done, right? Because 12 months is a long period. Your manager is also a human who can forget what you have done in before 7 months or before 8 months, right? You would have done a fantastic work before 7 months or 8 months, but unfortunately your manager forgot about it. So how to remind all those things is this way. You should put everything in a presentation or an Excel or whatever format you like and discuss with your manager and present to him. So this will definitely help you, to get a better edge rather than sitting quiet and discussing when the appraisal discussion actually happens. So this is my solution for you to have a very fruitful appraisal discussion with your manager. I hope you like this video. If you have any questions, you do please comment, or if you want me to talk on some other topic, please do comment that as well. And I am wishing you all the best for your upcoming appraisal. Thank you very much.